All right. Welcome everybody to the Sagi Fogwe podcast. So excited to be back. It's been a few months. Had some health issues and had surgery and wasn't able to really be on the air. But for based on a demand, based on a request from a certain group of people, we were kind of forced to come back on the air, and I'm so happy because the panel that you're going to have today is a wonderful one. These are ladies that go way back with me. These are ladies that I've known since we were 12, um, when we were still running around, um, not knowing what we were doing, didn't know our left from our right. But we've come a long way. We found ourselves doing the same thing, and we finally decided that it was very important for us to come together to have this conversation that needs to be had. It's a conversation that people avoid. It's a conversation that some people they have certain misconceptions about. And so that's why we're here today to debunk some of the life insurance myths. There are a lot of myths out there about life insurance, but the conversation today will help us demystify some of those ideas that people have, some thoughts that they have, and some, embedded attitudes about life insurance. So hopefully today, after this conversation, we'll be able to educate the community, educate anybody who is able to listen to our voices. So without further ado, I'm going to bring these ladies to the stage one after another, and then I'm going to have them introduce themselves here. We'll go around the room and they'll introduce themselves. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thank you.
thank you.
Isn't this a beautiful panel? Look at these colors. Guys, check these ladies out. They're on fire.
Yes, we are.
Blended colors. We're bold. We're not afraid to wear color. Even while
No,
talking about topics that are difficult to have, but we still come in style to do it, right?
Yes,
that's right.
Lord.
That's
That's
right.
right.
All right, we're going to go around the room, introduce ourselves. We'll start with Harriet, we'll go to Barbara, and then we'll go to Del, in that order. Just introduce yourself so people know who you are. They know why you're an expert on this topic.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Saigi. Thank you so much for putting this together. I'm really excited, and I am super, super excited to share this because, as you said, there's a lot of myths around the much needed life insurance. So we're going to talk more about that. But before we get into that, my name is Harriet Fomuki. I live in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm a licensed financial professional. So I'm going to be excited to share some education about what I know.
A little bit
In this.
more, a little bit more.
All right. All right. So, okay. So, what should I say? What should I say more? That I used to be a registered nurse for like so many
Yes.
years until now. I'm a retired registered nurse because I do what I do now full time. This is how I feel. I've moved from healthcare to wealth care because I know wealth care covers everything, right? And you see my beautiful sisters here on the screen. We've known each other since what, 1980,
1987.
87,
87.
yeah, since 1987. So it's just really so exciting for us to be here and doing this together, sharing what we've learned and, all from the Cameroons, right? That
Yep.
is where we're all coming from. And I believe we are all here in the US. I'm just really excited. So yeah, I know you said I should say more. I'm a princess too.
Oh yeah,
And
see.
so
Of
then
course,
I am
that's very
also
important.
a proud grandmother.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you, thank you. That's one of so two of my favorite titles, right? Of course,
Mm-hmm.
I know I said I'm a licensed financial professional, but two of my favorite titles are princess and grandma. I love those two titles because guess what? I really did not do anything to earn those titles. They just came to me. It was
Wow.
just a God's gift. So I love those more than all the other titles that I had to
There
work
you
for.
have.
Yes. So thank you again.
Amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Barb's, you're up. Hot seat.
Oh, what can I say? This is awesome. This is wonderful. And I think it's a long time coming. And I'm so excited and thrilled that the group of people who assigned us to do this did what they did, because this is the best way we can reach out to not only our group that we hold close to our hearts, but to as many people out there who would like to know more about this topic we're going to discuss today, life insurance. My name is Barbara Akum. I, of course, come from Cameroon. Been knowing these girls for a long time. And right now, I live in Ohio. I've hopped around in the States quite a bit. Ohio is not my end. I'm still looking for a more fertile ground. So I think I'm a nomad. I don't have cattle, but I think I'm a nomad. But that's okay. I love it. I love it. I love traveling.
Around the world in 80 days.
I love traveling. I love seeing new places. I'm a registered nurse still, balancing it with this um, new profession that I'm trying to delve in. This licensed professional, licensed life insurance professional, what am I saying?
Licensed financial professional. Yeah.
Licensed financial professional. It's even still hard for me to say it, but trust me, trust me, I'll get there, and I'm getting there slowly but surely. Been practicing this new profession of mine for the past couple of years. It's been fun learning new things, and I'm interested in learning even more. I learn with my audience, I learn with my team, I learn with my clients, which is really making it even more fun. So, Sagi, thank you for organizing this. Class of 92, thank you for requesting it. We are thrilled to be here. And I hope that by the end of today, somebody would have gotten something out of this. Thank you, ladies.
All right. Thank you so much. Dell, you're up in the hot seat.
Hey, thank you, Sagi, for this opportunity. I am really, really excited to be on your platform today with all you wonderful ladies. Like all of you have already mentioned, we come from way back. Like, I mean, we went to school when we were really young, still trying to, know ourselves, and we shared a lot. And it's wonderful that we are still sticking together even at this stage in our lives when we are mothers and wives and grandmas, and all the other things that have added to our portfolio. It's wonderful that we are still sticking together. Barb's here, for example, was my bed mate. Barb's and I,
Oh,
we slept in the same bed.
that's right. Yes.
H1, yes, we slept
Yes.
in the same bed for a whole year. So it's wonderful to be on your platform today. My name is Delphine Sab. I am a licensed financial professional. I am a banker. I hold a PMP certificate, that is a project management professional certificate, and I equally hold an MBA. Um, I got into this, well, I wouldn't call it an adventure. I mean, at the start, it seems like I was just trying my hands at something, not really knowing what I was going into. But the more I delved into the crafts of the thing, it became more and more exciting. And I'm happy that I am here today, and I'm actually doing this as, one of my professions, and I intend to grow and to impact lives as well, because as somebody already mentioned, we are here to educate our people on life insurance and on other aspects. It's not only about getting a death benefit when you die. There's a lot that come with it, so we are going to be sharing this knowledge today, and we hope that we will impact lives today. We would impact our audience and they would leave having learned something from this panel today. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, so thank you all for introducing, and that way people know who they're talking to. They know that these are real women, these are real people, just like everybody else. And I mean, I'm sure everybody already knows me. I'm the host of this show, but I'm Sagi Fogwe, also a licensed professional. But my other life, I'm a family nurse practitioner. So like Harriet said, those two worlds merge, in a way, health and wealth. I call myself the health and wealth queen because those two go together. Because if you don't have the money to take care of your health, you can't. Your health goes down the drain. And then at the same time, if you're not healthy enough to go out and work for the money, you can't do it. So those two things are very important, and that's why there are two passions that I've decided to bring together to make sure that I'm educating people as well, and and making sure that our community gets better, passing on legacy. I have my kids now, I educate them on these things. I have three kids, and they all know I'm always in their ear about this stuff, because these are things that we were not taught growing up, but now we've decided to make this decision to do what we do, and pass it on to other people. And the way this show came up, us as classmates were having conversations about things that we were trying to put in place. And then, it was a suggestion for this to be actually done as an educational segment. And we take an educational approach. We're not here to put a hammer over anybody's head. We're here to educate, so that when you walk away from this show, you pick one or two things. You don't have to pick everything we say. Pick one thing and implement it. Let it not just be one other lecture. Let it not just be one other podcast that you listen to and then you put it aside. Make sure that you go and take some action once you hear the information that we share from here. So we're going to go right into it. Africans, we're long-winded. We can talk for 2 hours, but we're not going to keep you here for 2 hours. We're going to be brief, but make sure that we're giving you, like the substance. So my first question, since we're talking about life insurance, we want to demystify life insurance here. Let's define life insurance. What is it? Because somebody might not, who's listening to this show, it might be their first time hearing about life insurance. What is life insurance in a layman's terms, so that a fifth grader can even understand it? What is life insurance?
I got this. So, life insurance to me is a transfer of risk. All right. The example I can give to this, because I know when I just put it like that, it's a transfer of risk. Some people will be like, what is a risk? What are you talking about? We're living. What is a risk? All right. We have our cars, right? And aside from the fact that we have to legally cover our cars with insurance, we know that if something happens to our cars, if we get into a car accident, we know that if we're paying our insurance on time and our insurance is current, then the insurance company is going to compensate us for the damage caused to our cars. So what we just did there was transfer the risk of any bad thing happening to that car to somebody else, which is the insurance company, so that if something bad were to happen, the insurance company covers the cost, and the cost is not borne by us. So that's the same thing with life insurance. Life insurance is merely transferring your risk, any risk of something happening to your precious life, to somebody else. Where if you as a person was not able to do the things in your life that you do in order to pay your bills, in order to keep you and your family continue living the standard of living that you're living, you transfer this risk to another person to be able to do it for you, which is the life insurance company. For me, that's what life insurance is.
I
Awesome.
could add to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like Barb said, life insurance is the transfer of risk onto the insurance company. So, what this means is an individual goes into a contract with an insurance company saying, should anything happen to me, e.g., critical illness, chronic illness, if I become terminally ill, the insurance company bears the cost. So that is the risk aspect of it that you're transferring onto the insurance company, and you do not have to worry because that has been covered should any of those things happen to you. Life insurance is also one of the instruments we use to create an estate. You know, what is an estate? Or assets and investments put together. So through life insurance, we're able to create an estate.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Harriet, did you? Okay.
Okay, so
You want to
uh,
tip in?
I, I think Delphine and Barbara really nailed it. Transfer of risk, and just going a
Yeah.
little bit further to say, you know, there is not. It's something that gives you peace of mind that you know that if something were to happen to you, in whether it's a critical chronic illness, as
Mm-hmm.
Delphine said, or that you are not here, your family is covered. And it is a world building machine, I would say. We know that it's not very easy to save and have wealth, but it's so much easier to buy wealth. So when you buy life insurance, to me, it's like you're literally buying wealth. So there is, I mean, I know there's a lot more that we could say, and it is hard to define life insurance without getting into the different types.
Yes.
Yes. So I know once we get into the different types, it's gonna again even help I believe that's gonna help our audience to understand more, because one of the biggest myths or thoughts about life insurance is that when the common person hears the word life insurance, what do they think?
Death.
Somebody's
Yes.
gonna die, right?
You're
Personally,
like, God
if I
forbid.
were
God
to,
forbid.
yeah, God forbid, right, right.
Yeah.
Personally, if
Yeah.
I were to start a protest, it would be that we should change the name from what people know as life insurance. What people think of life insurance, that should be called death insurance, not life insurance, right? Because it's kind of like taking something that is so good and making people associate it to death. Meanwhile, it's really not the case. So I would think what people are thinking is life insurance should be called death insurance, right? But I know we're going to get a little more into those
Into it.
differences.
And we're here to demystify that myth,
Yeah.
about
Exactly.
life insurance being
Right.
associated with death. That's
Right.
why we're here today to
Yeah, as
Yes.
we're having the conversation, we'll actually be
right.
defining it as we go. And Harriet, you're right, because once we go into the types, it will kind of answer that question in a way. But I wanted to open with that question just so that some kind to have some kind of chronology where we're defining it. Yes, we're demystifying life insurance, but what is it? Somebody who's like basic, who's going to watch this video later, so that we start with that, so that they even get that question answered ahead of time before we even go into the cream of the matter. So why is it important to have coverage? Why shouldn't everybody just walk around, worry about their day-to-day life? You're working, you're in all these you're in all these different groups that we belong to. Just not worry about it. Why should people have coverage?
Okay.
Let
I
me
can
go.
take that.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay, let
Go
me
ahead,
start.
Harriet.
All right. Okay. Okay. So again, it is very, very important to have life insurance to transfer that risk. And it is not a one size fits all. So, but when I say the importance of this, like personally, the reason I have life insurance and most of my other clients have life insurance, you'll be surprised. They all have it for different reasons, because life insurance is there to cover different situations. So it all depends. It's super, super important for anyone listening to sit down with one of the professionals so that your own unique situation is assessed. And then you will see, why do you want life insurance? Personally, for me, I the kind of peace of mind that I get from having my policy, I cannot even measure that to anything else. Just knowing that if I were to have a critical or chronic illness, I have a portion of my policy paid out to me, and I can take care of myself, I can take care of my family, we're not going to go homeless, that is huge. And then not to talk of knowing that if for some reason I'm not here today, okay, I know that my family is not going to suffer. That again to me is huge. But when I want to add the fact that I know that my life insurance policy is a money making account for me. I just don't even know how I can, I mean, like, how I survived for all the years that I did without having this particular account. So there are just so many reasons. I mean, I know my sisters here have a lot to say, but to me, these are like the top three reasons to have life insurance. It can actually make money for you. It can cover you if you're sick, and you'll be able to take care of yourself from a comfortable spot. And again, if you're not here, what happens to the people you love? At least emotional loss should not be a financial loss, right? So to me, these are like the top three. I know there is a lot more. We have so many more,
Oh
but
yeah.
to me, these are
Yeah,
the
I
top.
can add to that, Harriet. I mean, well said, by the way. One of the, for me, one of the top reasons why anybody should have life insurance is the aspect of you being able to transfer wealth to your offspring tax free. Like Harriet rightly said, life insurance is a money making instrument. You can build wealth when you have life insurance. And not only do you build wealth, but you are able to transfer this wealth to your children when you pass tax free. I don't know of any other financial instrument we have out there that would allow you to transfer wealth to your children tax free. You can name them, they are all taxed. If they are not taxed immediately, the taxes are deferred. But with life insurance, you are able to accumulate wealth that you transfer to your children when you die tax free. To me, that is like the top. Another reason why everybody should have life insurance is it protects your income. If you become chronically ill, critically ill, or you're faced with a terminal illness and you're not able to work, guess what? Your life insurance has a cash value that you can draw from to continue to live your life, to continue to take care of your medical expenses without any worry, to continue to pay your mortgage. So you're not worried, oh, I'm not working. Like if one of the questions we ask our clients is if you had to stop working today, let's say, on your way to work, something happens, God forbid, you're involved in an accident and you lose a limb, you can no longer work. Will you be able to survive in the next 3 months in America if you have only a job? I bet not many of us would. But if you have a life insurance policy, it gives you peace of mind because you know that has already been taken care of. Should anything happen to you unexpectedly, you become critically sick, chronically ill, you have your cash build up in your policy that you can continue to use to live life normally. Then again, if you become critically ill, for example, and you're not able to work, guess what? Your policy pays you up to 90% of the face value of your policy, of your death benefit. Do you hear that? If you have life insurance and you become critically sick today, you're not able to go to work. Your policy pays you up to 90% of the face value of your policy. If you become chronically sick and you're not able to work, what does it mean to be chronically sick? That is, you're not able to perform any two of the activities of daily living. What are these activities of daily living? Eating, bathing, transporting yourself, There are six of them. Let me just list this three. If you're not able to do any of the six activities of daily living, your policy pays you 24% of the face value of your policy. And if you are terminally ill, let's say you go to the hospital and your physician declares that you have a terminal illness and you're going to die, your policy pays you 100% of your policy value before you die. And if you are receiving long term care, you will be able to draw a certain amount from your policy monthly to allow you to continue to live life normally. So everybody should get a life insurance policy. It's very important. It's not only about somebody or your next of kin or your beneficiaries receiving a death benefit when you die. Even when you are living, you are living a wonderful life drawing out of your policy. You have peace of mind. You're not worried about what happens to me tomorrow if I'm sick and I'm not able to work. How am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to pay my bills and all of that stuff? You know, life insurance also protects us from GoFundMe. GoFundMe is very common in our community because a lot of us have not yet received that education of the importance of insurance. And because we have not received that education, we do not invest in this wonderful instrument. And when something happens in our community, the first thing we run to is a GoFundMe. We set up a GoFundMe to relieve a person either from a situation or to bury our loved ones. But when you have life insurance, guess what? You don't have to worry about all of that. Because when you die, for example, there is a rider that is attached to your insurance policy, Everest. They come in and they take over your funeral planning.
Okay, let's try not to call any companies. We're not advertising any companies. So let's try to avoid
That's
companies
absolutely right.
and
Yes,
don't talk about specifics of any policy.
yeah,
Yeah, because there are various policies out there. That way people don't hold you to your words.
right. You're
Yeah,
right
let's try
about
not,
that.
yeah,
No,
I don't have rights to advertise. So yeah.
okay. I don't want to get you into
I know.
trouble.
Don't get.
Yeah.
Let's not get
Yeah.
the Sagi for Great podcast shut down.
No, no way. We don't want to do that to your policy. Yeah,
All
so
right.
just to sum it all, life insurance policy is a wonderful financial instrument that everybody needs to have because it gives you peace of mind and you don't have to worry about a lot of things when you have a life insurance policy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think
since I'm
I,
talking about
I
the before the Barbara, if you before you say something, so on the GoFundMe, we have to really stress this fact because it has become almost as if GoFundMe is a financial plan. It is not a financial plan.
Not at all.
Let's really clarify that it because it's becoming a pandemic, it's almost automatic that
That's
that
right.
that has to go into play when something happens. So the reason we're having this conversation today is to make sure that even if the community comes together, and that was going to be one of my later questions, but we can kind of kind of talk about it a little bit now. So even if if something comes from the community, let that be out of our solidarity as a, because of our culture, but let it not be the plan. Let that not be the plan, so that all these things we're talking about, putting a policy in place, transferring because that legacy that you're passing on to to your beneficiaries or whoever you're leaving behind, it's going to change the dynamics of us always passing over liability. Because I've talked about this before, where at our funerals people are crying and rolling on the ground, and you're like, oh, she loved her husband so much. No, she's thinking about the responsibility. She did, but she's also thinking about the responsibility of the kids that he was sponsoring in Cameroon or wherever, somewhere else. Or or she's thinking about the bills that he was paying. Maybe he was the breadwinner and now she has to take that over. But think about if you walk into that funeral with a check and you hand a check to that lady, this is how she's going to be crying. she's gonna she, she's gonna cry a little fancier, knowing that she has a check in her hand that will pay the bills.
Right.
The mortgage will still be paid. The kids will not change their school district, and then life continues, because we really have to make sure that people are understanding the power of this tool that we're talking about. It's not about death. It's really, yes, you can live off of it, but then if all of those things don't happen, you don't use it while you're here, then the death benefit is just a bonus. Let's put it that way. It's a bonus, but you can use it for all these other things. So go ahead, Bob.
All right, my 2 cents I wanted to add to this discussion for the reason why people have life insurance is we're all mothers here, and you, Harriet, grandma. What is the beauty of getting a life insurance for your kid? When people talk about getting life insurance for adults, it's necessary and it's important. Unfortunately, it's more expensive for us because we're old. Get these policies for
You're
these
old.
children.
You're old. We're not.
We are old. We have said here that we have known each other for 30
You're
plus
old.
years.
Yes.
So since we were 12, so it already betrays our age. We are old. The older, I'm just wanting to emphasize the fact
Yes.
that the older you get, the more expensive the policies get for you. So the younger you are when you have a policy, the better it is for you, the more advantage you have to enjoy this resource. This is a very powerful tool, but it becomes more difficult and more expensive for us seasoned. But it's beautiful. Get it for your child, get it for your children. We're all here saddled with all these freaking student loans in America.
Hmm.
But do you understand what it is? Even if your child is not the brightest child in the class, do you understand what it is going to college loan free?
Hmm.
This tool is going to provide that to your grandchild, Harriet. It's going to provide that to our children because now we are informed about
Hmm.
this. So this is what this is information we're trying to give out there to our friends, to our sisters, to our brothers who are still shying away from this life insurance idea. They call it life insurance
So you can
to
live.
make us to make us
Live.
to make us and we have
Mm.
looked at it and we're looking at it like a death insurance, so we're afraid of it. We look at it and we fear, we're like, who want die? No, nobody's dying here. Let me
Hmm.
not use dying because Facebook does not use die. Nigerians say bye. Nobody is dying here. Yeah, nobody is dying. We're living. It's living
Yeah.
insurance. So
Hmm.
if you're buying insurance for a child, it's because you want your child to die. No,
No,
No.
you're setting them up for financial success in the
this is
future.
what the elites do for their children. We have to learn that this tool is powerful, and that's why when a child is born at 2 weeks old, before you know whether the child will be a drug addict, before you know whether the child will be a junkie, before you know whether the child will be autistic, the child already has a policy. So
Hmm.
by the time that they are diagnosed with autism, it's no problem again. The child already has a policy, and that policy for that child, what it will do for that child, especially for those who are already sick at birth, is that as they grow and you grow that policy, if they grow to become adults and they cannot really function in society, that money will help them
Absolutely.
to live
Financially.
their
Yep.
life financially.
Hmm.
So this is a powerful, powerful tool that I wish I knew before, but I'm not crying. I know it now and I'm taking full advantage of it. I'm
Hmm.
taking full advantage of it. How about you?
I am.
So
Yep.
yeah, so let
I
me
am
can I add
definitely am.
Yeah.
can I add
Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead, Harriet. Hmm.
yes, oh my God, you girls have touched on some very very powerful points, and which uh, I think anyone listening would want to really consider this, because when it comes to life insurance, it's not a matter of should we or when should, it's a matter of it should have been done yesterday. Okay,
Yes.
so today is already late. Today
Hmm.
is already late. And again, Sagi, thank you for reminding that we're not here to advertise any particular companies, right? Yeah. So because I know when it comes to this life insurance, like Delphine said, that she listed quite a few of some of the advantages that we know with the different policies. It's super, super important that anyone who is listening to this should make time, sit down with any of us one on one. Because when it comes to these policies, it all depends on which company. There's so many different companies. All of us here are independent financial professionals. Correct me if I'm wrong. We
Yes.
are all independent. So
Yes.
we do work with different companies. Okay. We do
Mm-hmm.
work with different companies, and different companies have different strategies. They
Mm-hmm.
have different accounts
Mm-hmm.
depending on what your own unique interest is. That is why we say we do a financial need analysis for every individual family. We see what are their interests, what do they want to what is their own main reason of having life insurance, and then we're going to structure your own specific account to satisfy that unique need of us. So please, again, we want to encourage anyone listening that sit down. There is no consultation fee to any of us.
Mm-hmm.
Call any one of us, sit down, discuss, say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. Oh, my problem is I don't want my children, as Barbara said, to be to have the kind of school loans that we all might have. So what kind of account can I get for my child so that they will not have to deal with school loans? Again, there's just a lot of things. It depends on which company, it depends on which strategy and what kind of account. When you sit one on one, you will be able to break things down and see what fits your own unique need. So
Yeah.
thank you. There is just so much. Like Delphine was like just because there's just
Also
it
passionate.
is
I was
Yeah.
ready to
exactly
go. Like,
so yeah. It's something once when you understand these things, you can like talk until tomorrow,
Yes,
because it's yeah,
it comes out
it
through your ears. Like even when I'm
exactly
at work, I'm talking to patients. I'm like talking
right,
to my patients
yeah,
about
right.
about this
you
stuff because
speak
you
with
just want everyone.
passion.
You want to
Yes,
shout it
With
from the
passion
rooftop.
because
yeah,
Mm,
especially coming from a healthcare background, which a lot of us, I mean, like Saidi is actually the queen of both worlds, right? You it brings your passion even more because we've seen a lot. Like working as a nurse, I've seen situations that I feel like I knew what I know today. I feel like I would have done something that things would not have been the way they are. So when Delphine speaks with that passion, I can know exactly where it's coming from. Is because when you understand a lot, you feel like, what can I do? How do I rescue my people? That is the feeling that I have.
yeah,
To me, I take this life insurance uh, what I do, this financial education, because again, all of us here, it's not just life insurance that we do. There's a lot in the package. We have a lot of things that we can really set up people in a way that set up accounts in a way that we will eradicate poverty. Personally, I feel so proud because I've eradicated poverty in my own personal life and my immediate family. And I know that we can reach out and do the same for everyone else. So once you sit down with any of us, there are so many things out there that we do not know, that people do not know. And if you take your time, sit down, you'll be surprised and you'll be shocked. And again, as I said, you don't have to pay any money to talk to any
yep.
of us. Sit down, get that appointment,
invitation is free.
discuss, yes,
Yeah.
and you'll get a lot of education that you can now go digest and then think of what fits you. Okay, but that should be done. I mean, it should have been done yesterday, right?
Yesterday.
Yes.
All right, so let's dive into the types of life insurance. So there are many types out there. So it's not, and then again, life insurance is not one size fits all, like Harriet said. It's not a one size fits all. It's not gonna, and it's not for everyone in terms, depending on which one you're looking for. Because sometimes you might be thinking that you're the one checking out the insurance company. You're the one being the snob, like, oh, they want my money. The life insurance company is also checking you out because they want to make sure that you are who you say you are,
That's
you
right.
are able to keep up with the payments, especially since you're transferring risk to them. So talking about the type of life insurance, we'll kind of break this down a little bit more to kind of let people know, that there are many different types depending on what your plan is, because everybody is on a different area, different level of the financial journey. Someone's just starting out, they're just wanting to get their life together right now. Somebody's already thinking they're an expert until they sit down and get a personal financial review. And then you realize that I'm not so much of an expert like I thought. Someone might be good, but they need just one more piece that needs to add on to be a financial bodyguard for them. So knowing the different types will really debunk that, so that nobody sits there thinking that they're comfortable, or somebody sits there thinking that, oh, I'm not able to afford this, and then don't even think to sit down with somebody to help them. So let's go through the different types. So what we'll just go around, and you can just talk about the one that you're comfortable to talk about, and then we'll fill in the gaps.
Should
Okay,
I
I'm
go?
ahead. So,
Let me.
all right, go ahead, Delphine. Delphine,
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah.
So we have different types of insurance. There is a term life. Um, Term life, as the name indicates, it's only for a term. It lasts for a little while. It lasts for a specific period of time, and usually it goes from 10 to 20 to 30 years maximum. And there are no benefits while you are living if you have a term insurance policy. So someone has to die in order for their offsprings to receive the benefits. That is term life. We also have term life with living benefits. Yes, you can equally have term life, which is still for a term, as the name indicates, for 10, 20, 30 years maximum. It goes right up to the age of 65. And then it has benefits as well, like chronic illness, critical illness, long-term care, all of these benefits. You could also sign up for that. But again, somebody needs to die in order for the death benefit to be paid. We have whole life insurance, which is a permanent insurance. So when it comes to permanent insurance, we have whole life, we have the indexed universal life, which actually covers you for your entire life. Whole life will cover you up to age 100. Index universal life will cover you up to age 120, 121. So the question I always ask my client is, who buys an insurance policy, let's say at the age of maybe 25, or 30, having in mind that they are going to die at age 65 so that somebody or their family can receive the death benefit? Who buys an insurance policy planning to die so that the death benefit can be paid to your family? I don't think anyone does. What I'm just trying to say is, in as much as we have term life, we have permanent insurance. Permanent insurance, if you ask me, is the way to go. Term life has a term, it comes to an end. Term life insurance is cheaper, and it's also good for young people, or people who just need insurance for a certain amount of time. You can go for term life. It's good for young people. They're still young. They really do not have anything to worry about, health complications and other stuff. They just want to have something, knowing that should anything happen to them, at least they do not have to put their family through a lot of stress to, bear the cost and all of that stuff. So we have term life and we have permanent insurance. Thank you.
Um, I can.
Go ahead,
Uh,
Harriet.
all right, I'd like to add to that. So, types of insurance, of types of life insurance is a pretty wide topic, right? So let me kind of say, let's break down. There are like four major categories. We have group life insurance, we have term life that Delphine has really said a lot about. We have whole life and we have the index universal life. So most of the times I've had clients, like when I sit down to talk with them, they talk about, oh, they have life insurance, they already have life insurance. And when I ask a little bit deeper, I see that they're talking about group life insurance. And what is group life insurance? It's the one that we get at work for the most part, right? Which of course the advantages is that it's free. They don't even do any health check. Anybody can get it. It doesn't matter whether you're working part-time or full-time, it's free for everybody. But guess what? What now are the disadvantages? Because it's important for us to know the different types of life insurance, the advantages and the disadvantages. So it helps us to see which one is the right fit for us, depending on the advantage and the disadvantage. So going back to group life, when you think about group life insurance we get at work, as I said, the advantage is that it is sometimes the cost is either insignificant or it is even free. You just have to be working there. They don't even do any health check. But now, what are the disadvantages? Coverage ends when you leave your job. Yes, I know sometimes, like the government could uh, allow you to be able to, within 31 days, roll over your group life insurance into permanent life insurance, right? But a lot of people cannot afford that because once you go within the 31 days to roll over that, the costs are crazy that a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
then you
people
have lost
cannot.
your job and
Yeah,
you have no money.
yeah, exactly. Thank you, bro. You've already lost your job. You have no money. So a lot of people are unable to do that. So something that they thought that they have, they really do not have it. And again, most of the group life insurance, I would like anyone who is on here, please go to your HR. When you go back to work, go to your human resource and ask them, please, can I see? Because with group life, you actually do not even have the contract. What you have is just a certificate. So just go to your HR, ask them, please, can I take a look at what the contract says? You will be shocked. 99% of group life insurance policies, they will have that fine print that says that you have to die
On their
while
On the
at
premise.
work.
top.
You have to be on the premises and you have to be clocked in for this policy to pay out. What does that mean? You could be driving to work and you die in a car accident and that policy does not pay out because you were not yet at work. Or you could already be at work and you, if you were to clock out for lunch, you clock out for lunch and while having your lunch in your break room, you choke on that lunch and die. And they tell you that they not tell you, of course, they tell your loved ones that that policy that you thought you had is not going to pay out because yes, you were on the premises, but you were not clocked in. You have a heart attack, they call the ambulance quickly to take you to the hospital. You think that's because they want to save you so much. Hey, they don't want you to die on that premises, right? They want you to die on the ambulance on your way to the hospital, so it doesn't pay out. So I want everybody to go to their human resource office and take the time, read through some of these things because sometimes we go around thinking that we have something that really we do not, which we really do not have, and by the time our families or we realize that it is already it's already late. So now talk about term. Delphine, thank you. You said a lot about the term life. Term life is the most popular one because if you're like me, you'll get the mails coming from AAA all the time. You go to the bank, they're advertising term life. It's every other show on TV, they're advertising term life. So it's very popular and it is cheap. But as Delphine rightly said, it just covers you, it's temporal. It covers you just for a certain period. So what happens after that period? I mean, we could go a lot deeper into some of this, but as Delphine said, let's say you were 30 years today, you get a term life policy for 500,000 and you're paying 100,000, $100, sorry. Let's say you're paying $100 a month. And now 30-year term means what? It's going to term after 30 years. So now you're 60. What do? You want to renew it, right? Even if the government mandates that it should renew these term policies, but the government does not decide the terms of renewal. So your company is going to be like, okay, I'm going to renew the policy. Now you're 60, the risk is higher and everything. So instead of paying $100, you're going to be paying $800 or 1,000 again, as Barbara said, and you are already nearing retirement. Now, how do you keep up with paying
With the
that new
payment.
with the payment? So you see again, a lot of people let go. So term life, just at the time that you really need that life insurance policy, it is gone. And there are so many reasons, so many things that happen again with term policies, right? Let's say you forget to pay because it does not build a cash value, as Delphine said. It doesn't build any cash value. So if you miss a payment, Just maybe you transferred, you bought a new home, or you changed your apartment, and you forgot to forward your bills, your mails, and then you missed a payment, you lose it. And everything that you've been contributing, it is all gone. Sometimes even just illness. You're sick that you forget to pay, or your bank card that you had put on expired, you forgot to renew it, and so on. There's so many reasons that we can really not have that term policy for us when we actually need it. And then again, with whole life, whole life, depending on how it is structured and depending on what type of whole life, because we do have participating and non-participating. So some grow you money, some do not.
Right.
So again, it just boils down to exactly which one do you want, what are you really looking for. But of course, we also have the index universal life policy. That is like a big package. It is very inclusive. When you do not sit down, a lot of people will just say that, will just think that it is expensive because they pay a little more than the term that is going to end, right? But if you sit down, you will actually see that with a product like the Index Universal Life, there is a lot in that one package. It's like a one stop
Shop.
shop, right? Where you can get everything, starting from you being able to grow, protect, and grow your money. Because again, when it comes to money, making money is very important. But one of the things that I just learned that is super, super important is protecting the money that we make, which is the reason that, as Delphine said, one of the common questions, if somebody were to ask you, how many days forward could you survive if you stop working today and you had to only live off of your savings? A lot of us work, so we work like overtime, multiple jobs. I used to do that too, right? But then when I had that question, like, how long could you survive? I wasn't. That is when it rang a bell that yes, even though I've been working this hard, but if I have to stop, there is really not a lot that I can fall back on. So what is it? It's because it boils down to understanding the system. When you sit down with any of us, the education that we do is not just about life insurance. It's about understanding how the American system works. If you do not understand how this system works, trust me, you're going to work so hard and we end up again in a struggle. And life insurance is just one of those things that once you understand and know how to structure the right one that fits you, it could really help. And the Index Universal Life, as Delphine mentioned, it's that one that when you sit down and it is structured properly, I'm
Property.
telling you, it can, yeah, it depends on how it is. The way it is structured can make a big difference, because when it comes to your money, you want to protect it and you want to grow it. And yes, banks will give us some kind of protection without the protecting it from inflation, because banks will protect your money but not from inflation. But again, banks do not give us any growth. We all know that. In the banks, what do you get for interest rate? 0.1%, 0.2. Tell me, even after 30, 40 years, what will that do for you? But if you get the proper type of life insurance, I'm telling you, you could be growing money at more than 8%. Okay, you can. So you want an account that will give you both protection and growth.
And
Again,
growth.
a lot of us too, yes, we also do. Like, I could show you a graph here on the different possible ways that our money can behave. There are just like three ways that our money can behave. It is either in a fixed account, like in the banks, really doing nothing, or in a variable account, which if you look at the graph, is like a heart attack, right? Like an EKG machine, like you could make money. Like, that's what the stock markets, the 401k, that is actually the kind of things that it will do, that where you can make money, you can lose it, just depending on the volatility of the market. So you just really never know where you're going to land. But again, we have index accounts, and these index accounts, we do have life insurance, like what Delphine was saying, Index Universal Life. It is an account where it guarantees you both protection and growth of your money. I mean, sorry, I'm just like, I could go on and on, but
Yeah,
there's
We're
so
just
ready to
there's
let
board
too
the
me
much in it.
quickly
staff.
Yes, sorry.
let
So
me
go ahead.
chime in because
Yes.
Barbara and I have to head to the airport in a
Right.
few
Okay.
minutes. So
All right.
we're gonna kind of wrap it up. The good thing is we're having this conversation again next week, even though it won't be the same, it won't be this same topic, but we're continuing this conversation next week because I already knew that there was no way that in one session we're gonna sit down and do all of this. And maybe you guys did not know this. My computer went off. You guys were continuing the conversation. I had to switch computers.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes, I woke up and I
I
was
thought you
saying
were
I
to
never
myself,
traveling.
I
noticed.
said, the
I
devil is a
noticed.
liar. Huh?
I noticed you were away, like
Yes,
for a
my
minute.
computer, the screen went off. Luckily, I have a sec, so I just grabbed. So I did. I missed a little part of it, but I'm glad the conversation continued without the host. So, but yeah, I got back and everything. So I mean, the last question that I'll ask, which for us to round it up a little bit, and before I do that, I just wanted to tie everything together. What these ladies have mentioned with all the types of life insurance, that shows you that it's not just one thing out there for you. There's so many different things, but the one thing that you have to walk away with as a potential client or somebody who is trying to do a financial review is that you need a full care package. You need a full care package. There's not one thing you need in your package. You can get a universal life, but you also need a term policy, a term with living benefits to protect you for your income or to protect your mortgage. Because while your index universal life is doing what it's doing for you, your term with living benefits is your bodyguard. That is your financial bodyguard because it's protecting you. You can choose to draw from your term with living benefits when you have a critical or chronic illness, while your cash is still brewing, it's still sizzling, it's still doing what it's doing in your index universal life. So you're building wealth, you're accumulating, but you need to protect it because there are three phases of wealth building: accumulation, protection, and distribution. Because your goal is to get to that distribution stage where you're retiring. Like right now, what's happening in the market, people who have stuff in the variable market, like Harriet is saying with the heart attack, some people are having heart attacks. They're
Right.
having heart attacks, but if you don't have that protection and if you don't make sure that your money is in the right bucket, you're going to be playing catch up later. We don't want people to play catch up. So we're trying to make sure that we get to that point. Barbara, it looks like you're itching. Go
I,
ahead.
I, I really wanted to say something. So, as you said, the about the full package, and we also have to understand that people are in different stages of their lives. They're in different stages of their lives, and in as much as we want to emphasize the importance of the index universal life, we know how important it is. We know all the beauty of what it is. But honestly, you have a client who will come to you and person cannot afford that at the time. But you know what? This person needs a protection. This person needs protection. What will you do? You will not let them go because they don't have money to pay for index universal life. They will need a term with living benefits so that their income is protected. So if they cannot go back to work, their family is there. Their family, they still can take care of their family with the income from the living benefits that come from the term with living benefits. So nothing is too small to get that protection. All of us are in different stages. Like some people, we may be of age, but because we are immigrants, there are some of us here who came at different times. Those who came way many years ago, they have settled down. They're in a place where they can settle and do certain things. But we have some of our brothers and sisters who just came. It's not long since they came and they're still struggling. They are still managing. We have to be able to protect them still and ease them into their American dream, ease them into the American way of life with the finances, ease them into the fact that okay, we cannot do this universal life now, but trust me, with the hustle that I see in your eyes, you'll be able to do it in a couple of years, but you need protection. So take the term with living benefits, protect yourself, protect your family, because you know what, you are the head of the household. If something were to happen to you, you don't want your kids to look at you and say, Daddy, what's going on? You don't want to move into a and go and live in the trenches because now you cannot pay your rent, you cannot pay your
Mhm.
mortgage, you cannot, your kids will not be able to afford the standard of life that they had been able to afford before. Get something. It may not be the whole package now, but trust me, if you get it and start learning and knowing little by little how to protect the little that you have, they say to him where much is given, much is expected. So if you start protecting the little that you have, eventually you get to the point where you'll be able to protect more. Because sometimes we shove that index universal life down people's throat. They'll pay for a short time and then it fizzles off. They cannot keep up with it.
Mhm.
Because trust me, when in America, that is the last bill that you think of. You if you, something goes wrong and your job is not able to sustain you anymore, you just lost a job. Not everybody has the 6 months plan of income in the bank that they can live off.
Emergency fund, like the
Emergency
emergency
fund.
fund. Yeah.
Not everybody has it. Most, as a matter of fact, many Americans cannot handle a $400 emergency. Many of us cannot handle a $400 emergency, and that is why we need that protection. So much so that if you have a very heavy policy, if an emergency comes, guess what's going to go first? It's that
That's what
policy,
they'll let
that
go for
policy.
the first thing
What,
they'll let go.
which is what really should not go first.
Yeah,
But
it shouldn't.
unfortunately,
Yes,
that
the
is
Unfortunately,
most
what goes.
important thing should not
unfortunately,
go first, but it
Yes,
will.
but
unfortunately, hierarchy of needs and hierarchy of needs, that does not fall
Yeah,
in the top of the pyramid.
yeah. Because the regular person is not thinking like us here because we've been educated, and that's why we'll keep having this conversation. We're going to keep having this conversation so we can get into people's heads. Our community will be empowered. Our community will be financially empowered. That's our
Amen.
true.
goal here. That's our
Yes.
goal. So the way I want to round it up is I want each of us to
Maggie,
go
please,
around. Yeah.
can I just add something to what
Mhm.
Barb said? She made a very important point about
Mhm.
us not turning clients away because they cannot afford an IUL. I just want to add that one good thing about the term life with living benefits is that it can be converted to an IUL at a later
Yes.
time. It can
Yes.
be converted. So if
Yes.
you're not able to get an IUL, at the time you are talking with your agent, know that you can always convert
To a
your
permanent policy.
for a
Yes.
permanent
That's very
policy
true.
at a later
Mhm.
time. And then one other thing I want to say about the IUL, and the premiums, if they are high. The good thing about the IUL is, let's say you have an IUL and you're paying a premium of, I don't know, whatever you could be paying, maybe 200 a month, 300, 400, 500 a month. It all depends on the face value, right? That you subscribe to. If you maybe at a later stage have some difficulties and you're not able to keep up with your premiums, when you have made your payments after a certain period of time, you can start paying what we call the minimum no lapse premium for your IUL so that it doesn't lapse. So you don't have to worry about my policy monthly premium being expensive and I'll not be able to keep up to. When you have made regular payments for a certain amount of time, you can fall back to the minimum no lapse premium, which will still keep your policy running and it will not lapse. It will not be canceled. So that's one other thing that is wonderful about the IUL, and to sum it all, the IUL is a beautiful thing. The term life with living benefit is a beautiful thing. You can always convert it to an IUL, which is like, la creme de la creme when it comes to, types of
Life
insurance.
insurance. Hmm.
You don't have to really
Well,
worry.
since you just round up by giving your final thought, one thing that you want the audience to walk away from this conversation with, one thing that you think that anybody, even if they didn't hear anything we said here today, you want them to walk away with that in their mind.
Thank you.
Mhm.
If I have one thing to say to my audience today, I want you to walk away acting on what you have heard today, because the waiting game is the losing game. Act now. That's my final word. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Del. Harriet, one thing that you think
Okay.
the audience should walk away
All right.
with.
All right. Really, before I say the one thing, right, I just wanted to add something to what Barbara said, right? When it comes to the IUL and being expensive and so on. So I think it's very important when we do the education, because sometimes we decide whether something is expensive or not expensive depending on the value that we give to the thing. So when you sit down with one of us and understand exactly what your needs are, it's going to help you to make the right decision that fits your own unique situation.
Mhm.
So, and if I was to say, what is the one thing that you should leave in your mind with today, I would say, when it comes to your money, make an appointment. As we get off this call any one of us, make that appointment, sit down and discuss what your situation, your own unique situation is, because it is very important to protect your money and to grow it. Get that account that will give you both protection and growth of your money. In that way, your financial future is secure. Thank you.
Babs, I'm taking pictures of us. Never mind.
Fine.
Social media. It's just for our class. We're not putting it on social media.
My,
Go
I'm
ahead.
I'm sorry that I have people passing back and forth
It's okay.
in the hotel
It's
lobby.
okay.
So my takeaway is GoFundMe is not a financial plan. Njangi is not a financial plan. Saving your money in a savings account is not a financial plan. Sit with one financial professional in your life that you know. There are thousands out there now, and get a good plan and not be a nuisance in life to others. Thank you.
Wow.
Education.
Question, Sagi, please.
Yes.
Are we? Do we? How do? If we want to get contacted by anyone in the audience, how?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So let's let's do this. All of you have access to the comment section right now, right? You can see the comments.
Yes.
Start
So
with everyone on
your
studio.
name, type your name and your number. Type your name and your number. When we share the video, the name and number, the contacts will be in there, because right now I see 7 people viewing us, but people will watch the recording. And also, when I go edit the YouTube version, I'm going to put all of everybody's contact in there in the description. So if you want to reach out, yeah, if you want to reach out to any of these ladies, the contact will be in the YouTube video. You reach out to whoever you want to, because this is not, there's plenty to go around. Plenty to go around. It's, we're here to help people. There's no fighting. There's no, we're professionals. So pick the person whose shirt color you like, their hair color, their eye color, their height, even if they're close to the ground. We're not gonna call any names. You
Yeah.
pick whoever you want.
Um.
Yeah, so we'll put, yeah, so you can drop it in the comments right now, or like I said, I'll diligent, you can send me the information that you want for yourself, and I'll put it in the description, and then when we share the video, people can reach out to you.
All right. I think that's what I'm
Thank
going to
you.
do because it
Yeah.
looks like I'm not able to type in the comment section. I don't know why.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
this system, I'm still learning to host this thing by
all
myself.
right.
Learning technology, but I'm glad that we have a platform like this that we can,
Yes.
still do this. But I promise you, I'll put it in the description of the YouTube, and then when I share the video, then then people can look in there and they'll see the
Mhm.
contacts. And
Okay.
also the video on live on Facebook, we can also put our contacts there. Like, all of you are my friends on Facebook. You can go there and just put your name, put your feel free to put your name, put your phone number, how you want to be contacted, by just
Mhm.
responding to that video. So that's how we'll do it. That's what this platform is about. My podcast is here for the community. It's here for anybody doing anything in the community that is worth talking about, that is worth sharing. We're positive on here. No drama, no politics, no. Yes, it's about the community, and that's what this was created for. So anybody out there who has something that they want to share and they want to talk about, I'll interview you. We share business ideas. If somebody has a business and they want it promoted, we can do it here, as long as, again, positive, ethical, and all that. So thank you, ladies, so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
every
Thank
single one of
you.
you, because we should have been in church.
I
So
know.
I hope those who went to church have prayed for us, because we should have been in church, but we're here. But because we kind of had to leave, we had we had to travel, and we changed the time. But next week we're gonna be here again at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. I don't know the Cameroon times, but we have the flyer going around. Those who are joining from UK and Cameroon, feel free to join us next week. The conversation will be more about protecting. We've talked about life insurance, about accumulating. Next week will be about protecting, taxes, wills and trust, things like that. Those will be the things we'll talk about next week. So thank you, ladies, so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for having us. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
giving the opportunity.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
good to see you all
Have a
again.
safe journey back. You and Babs, you know, you guys are going to be traveling shortly. So